First off, I'd like to talk about me, because I'm just got to be me. I am so much like myself that, well, it wouldn't make sense to try to act like I was anybody else. I mean, after all, I am myself, and, well, do I want to say that? I'm not real certain. Let me think about that for just a moment, and, well, I can get back to that later. But nevertheless, I am myself, and perhaps I can illustrate this just a little bit better. See, I smoke, and I have my books in the background, and I even have Mark Twain above my books, and why, just my setting isn't pretentious at all, because, well, it's me. And maybe I can illustrate, once again, this a little bit better by showing that me, it equals me, and I'm my own person. And by own here, I don't mean I own the characteristics or that I inherited the characteristics. So, Das Pook, please just let me be me. Verken, snoutin', sneakin', gloken. No, for real though. Points like a predator. Attack. And I'm not in the world of social propriety. Cigarette was good, and I think I'm going to continue smoking it while I go over my response. See, I love facial hair, actually, and I didn't mean anything negative about facial hair. Initially, my Das Pook site was set up to defame Mormonism, but I got off track a tad. I don't think that you're a nihilist, and I was responding to you, to your interaction with Greg, initially. Now, perhaps I use nihilism in place of loss of identity or losing oneself. And nihilism is the closest singly established word to what I'm getting at. Now, I don't think that you nor Greg would like to dismantle your own person. I don't know you, not well, and not well enough. I'll grant that. All references to shaving your beard and your eyebrows, etc., are a de facto primer to losing one's sense of social recognition and social cohesion. And it can also help with a sense of personal unfamiliarity. To build a cake, for example, and to start with a layer, I once again recommend this primping process of cutting one's hair. I recommend that in conjunction with changing course of habits and changing curiosities in order to find yourself doing things that you don't prefer. And then if you add a meditative task of trying to revalue your values, such as Nietzsche points out, and as frosting on the cake, try to rework your memories. Perhaps remember something with your dad in it, and focus on an aspect of the memory that when you come back to it, you can jump to something that derails you. And the cherry on the cake would be to forget how to memorize. Move against your most rudimentary interactions with the language, and move against your nature, and try to disturb your faculty of memory. Disrupt your social intercourse. And why do this? So that all that defines your identity and your correlation to this life is lost. And why do that? in such an abrupt fashion. This, as or not, is so that another identity can emerge. Perhaps a more humbling identity. Now, this would unhinge, and it would also bring to light our contemporary connections with the need to identify with objects to like objects, and words to like words, and symbols to symbols, and the recent moment to the current moment. And essentially, this process would ruin that which allows us to make sense of anything, at least for a period of time. It would make you into a zombie of sorts. And why do any of this? Well, it's like cutting the Sisyphean myth short. It would keep you from pushing the stone up the hill right from the get-go. And why do I prescribe this for you particularly? Well, precisely because you ponder on this weight. A pushing myth and a failure myth, a non-purposeless or a purposeless event. As or not, seize up at the notion of meeting the abyss and meeting sense itself and the purpose in your life. If you did that, it would seem to me that you would become something else. And now we can say with confidence that I prescribe this mostly because it expedites your absurdism experience. And that's why I'm not certain absurdism breaks into any new ground, but I mean, you've made your book, and this allows you to get in and test the assumptions of your ideas with your own life. And not just the sense that it is the case from a high pedestal of philosophical description. Granted, I just threw myself into your internet being with a lot of assumptions, and I trust what I see no matter how incorrect I often am. But I think you were just so pleased with your past laurels that you don't see an impending mythic transformation. Now, I'm a decade older than you, and a decade plus older than you, and I think that you display symptoms of this change coming on. Now, one symptom is your gravity to this myth itself, and how your life is about this myth, and that failure of one's expectations of the world, and how other people's lives are about differing myths. Now, one last note is perhaps I see a closeness with you, as or not, as I did with my old friend that I was trying to relay before, but I ramble so quickly. And although we move with differing frequencies and temperaments, times to do and times to do other things, you might have a can-do of self-torment, and you might have a strength to lose. You have a tendency to write about it and wax philosophical. And I don't know you to know if you've divin into it, but I would say that you haven't divin. Is it ourselves which tell us to win? Or is it just some exterior context? Now, I wonder of your thoughts.